So for anybody who is watching this on Facebook, we'd love for you to get on the Zoom because we are going to do Zoom rooms. So looking good, Zach. You're on mute. What are you doing? Did you get a haircut?
No, I actually need a haircut.
Oh.
I haven't looked in the mirror. I took a shower, but like I just didn't realize I was sticking straight up because no one else has seen me today.
Oh.
I had a Zoom meeting earlier, but I wore a hat, so.
Yeah. All right, so as many of you that can get on the Zoom because we'll be doing a Zoom room. Good stuff today. Did anybody have a successful open house over the weekend? Just wondering how open houses are going. Anybody? No? No open house? Okay. I think people are like on vacation or something.
They're all in the hallways.
Yeah, get on your Zoom. Abby, go tell them to get on. We need more people on the Zoom. We have a really good Zoom breakout session today. So. And you should put, maybe just type in the comments in the Facebook, like get on the Zoom. All righty, well, it's 12:02, so I will get this party started. Here we are on July 7th. We've got some welcomes. We have some new cappers. We're gonna have Bill from Bank 5-9 talk at the beginning of the meeting. We have some updates. We are going to do a quick 411 training, share some tips around that, and then we are going to talk about winning multiple offers. We're gonna do a little breakout and share some ideas around that. So, got a lot on our plate. We started with an agenda of nothing, and here we are. So, all right, so we have a welcome in the house. We have Rachel Blumel, who has joined our KW Prestige in Germantown. So welcome, Rachel. Yay! All right. We have some cappers in the house. So we have people who don't have to pay us anything to work here. How awesome is that? Nicole Geiger, and then we have Brian and Cindy Kuss. So congratulations. Feel free to unmute and clap. Yay! Yay! All right, so Bill.
Hey, can you hear me?
All yours.
Can everyone hear me all right?
Yep.
Awesome. I got a new camera set up here in the office today, so I just wanted to make sure. So we've had an opportunity to get into some transactions in the first half of the year that involved an escrow agreement. And I wanted to take a minute to give everyone some best practices regarding escrow agreements because there has been some, I'll say some misinformation out there regarding how that kind of stuff gets put together. So the first thing I want to just touch on is what types of things can you escrow for? And this year so far, we've escrowed for a septic system to be installed. We've also escrowed for a new roof to be put on a house. And the common denominator is that each of those cases, weather was a factor. So you need to have evidence that the contractor can't get materials for the transaction in time, or that you have weather issues. So in the case where we had those really bad spring rains, those impacted the ability to install a septic. It can't be because the seller doesn't feel like doing it prior to closing. That isn't an option. So at least in the eyes of Fannie Mae, that's what their rules say. The next thing that you need to make sure on is that the seller is willing to escrow 120% of the cost for the work that's being finished. So 1.2 times the cost for the work. And the buyer can cover that cushion, but basically the escrow agreement needs to specify that there is that cushion. And if it doesn't have it, it's going to be because the lender is basically not selling that loan to Fannie Mae. And the next thing to remember too is on FHA transactions, FHA will only allow escrow on exterior only things. So you guys, this is super important. If you have an FHA transaction where there's work orders for chipping or peeling paint, what happens is FHA will only allow you to escrow during the winter and spring months. They will not allow you to escrow in summertime with FHA. And that also applies to VA. So keep that in mind. If you have someone that you know the property's got chipping and peeling paint, don't let that be an objection as to why your transaction goes sideways. And then the final thing to make sure you know is we've got to get that escrow agreement drawn up in a timely manner, and it's got to be approved by underwriting. So if you're doing a transaction with an escrow agreement, just make sure that the title company is working together with the lender to get that escrow agreement drawn up, because it's pretty common that we'll contact Lynn and we'll ask her to drop the escrow agreement for us over at Focus. We'll say, hey, Lynn, this is what's going on. And if you don't have the bids and you don't have all the details, they can't finish the escrow agreement. That's got to be signed off by underwriting. This isn't something you want to happen in the 12th hour, so try to be proactive about it if you know one of those types of situations is going to arise. Does anyone have any questions? Awesome, that means I did a great job. Thanks for hearing me out on the escrow agreement subject.
Perfect. No questions? Everybody's good? No escrowing needed? Which I wouldn't think there's as much right now because we're not in winter months, right?
Shouldn't be as many. You know, only time you see that it comes up a lot right now would be, you know, the septic thing was really the most popular one because of heavy rains. But obviously we're not getting rain right now. We don't have to worry about that. So anyone has any scenario questions on escrows, just hit Amy or I up and we'll be glad to help.
Awesome. Thank you, Bill. Much appreciated. All right, we're going to give a little bit of a market update, some upcoming training reminders, and then talk 411. So, all right. So does anybody notice anything with this market update for new listings compared to last week? Anybody?
The biggest thing that stands out is there's more accepted offers than new listings.
Okay.
And the listings has gone down, but you know, look at the solds and accepted offers compared to new listings. That is that is just like unheard of. So
Allison, and you pointed this out to me because you're the one that tracks these numbers. What was the number last week for new listings? Do you remember?
Yeah, it was 633, I believe. So 140 more than we had this past week.
Wow. Big. So that's a big number. That's a big number for you to know. That's a great number to reference. It's a great way to reference, I would say, to tell the story from the team meeting recap from last week to this week when you're making your phone calls. That's a perfect number, not just to share that, hey, we had 493 new listings this week, but how about a week ago we had 600 some. So it's a good number to know. And if you have not watched all of the listing series or participated in them, this is your reason as to why you should. And Allison sent that out last week. So I just started listening to it. It is so good, you guys. And so that's what you want to be doing because we need those listings. So thank you, Allison, for tracking those numbers. It means a lot. Little reminders here, our daily Market Center huddle, which is every weekday, Monday through Friday from 9 to 9:30. So today we had this many people on the call. So you know what? I was in a breakout with Scott. So people, I need you to be on the call so they don't have to be on a breakout with Scott. So this is the one thing that we believe will help you reach your goals. We're not taking this away. This is going to stay here, you guys. This is the biggest thing that you can do right now in your business is to participate in that. Create a routine. And then we have on Wednesday, Operations System Mastermind. So for anybody who is an operational admin position on your team, this is a great place to go. It's also for single agents, you guys, because you wear all the hats. Thursday, Keep the Faith. Right now, we're down to doing that twice a month versus at the beginning of COVID, we did it every week, 4 to 5 times a month, depending on the month. And so that will take place with Chris and Abby. So if right now you're struggling at all with your mindset, and we know that 80% plus of our success comes from mindset, this is where you want to be. This is a great safe place to get your mindset right. And then our group coaching for all of our newly licensed agents that are in the launch program. You can see here that we're just pointing out, mark your calendars for the 14th. Jen Strelka will be talking about showing agent basics, and that is open to everybody. It's just we require our newly licensed agents to go to that, but at any time, anybody can participate in any of those. So that's what we have going on there. So great highlights there for training.
Hey, Kim, can I give a shameless plug?
Yes, please do it.
Okay, so right after this team meeting, Alex D is going to be training on campaign marketing in Command. So it's the perfect opportunity for everybody to get a refresher or to get the basics down pat, so he can teach you how to make flyers, business cards, and do all the marketing that you need, even marketing for your Facebook, you know, once you've sold a listing or you've got a closing with a buyer, etc. Tune in. It's good stuff.
Good stuff, Alex. So yes, log off of here, get on. And Alex, will you only be showing your forehead? Yeah, there's Alex. Say hello so people can see your face. So for those of you that are watching
Hello.
on, yeah, say hello one more time. Do it again.
Hello, hello, hello.
Nice
hello.
haircut, Alex.
Like it?
Solid.
I did it myself.
Looks great.
Look at that. So he even cut his hair for it. So guys, let's fill it. Let's fill
Even
the
took a
Zoom.
shower today.
Ooh, that's a big deal. So
Bonus points for that, Alex.
awesome. All right. So bold pivot. I want to explain a little bit about this. So I don't know if we have anybody signed up. Would love to know if we do. So for those of you that are newer, normally bold is $799. It's only $99. So if you go to the next slide, Allison, I want to talk a little bit about bold. So I got to get really close. I'm pretty sure I need reading glasses. So what's really nice about this is it's all done virtually. Is there anybody here on Zoom who took the first bold pivot? Raise your hand. Tina, can you pipe in? Maybe just give a little plug for anybody who's wondering what this is all about.
Sure. I mean, we really enjoyed it. It was great for mindset. We took it specifically like during the COVID part, but I think it's still good, just that whole mindset reset. It's really great for new agents because you're really diving in very deep on a very consistent level on how to take your business, you know, how to get your business started and then take it to the next level. I liked it a lot too because you were really interacting with a lot of different people across the country. There's group chats going on, there's a Facebook page. So while it's always great to interact with people in our area, I like the fact that we were getting ideas from all across the country. So, I mean, lots of really good relationships could be made from taking that. Again, even just to build your referral network too.
Love it. And so the classroom time is only on Tuesdays and Thursdays. So it's pretty easy to fit in your schedule. So yeah, awesome.
One additional comment for anybody that needs discipline and time blocking to develop the systems that you need, you know, to lead gen. It's perfect for that.
Love it. Okay. So, all right, so bold 50. Woo, 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 woo. Okay, so next Monday the 13th from 9:30 to 3:30, we invite you to join Tina and I. So this is where you are using a concentrated time. The whole idea, if for those of you who haven't taken bold before, there's something called the bold 100. It's where in one day you make 100 contacts. And a contact is considered either a voice-to-voice conversation or a conversation back and forth on text or social media. 50% of them have to be voice-to-voice conversations. And so Tina and I wanted to dedicate a day to, our goal is to make 50 contacts, and we picked a time frame from 9:30 to 3:30. So Peter Promisberger, we should get on board. He always likes doing these. Let's see, Amy Ryback has done these with us in the past. So it's fun when we do it as a group. So what we're gonna do is, I think we'll be able to keep the Zoom on all day. I don't know if there's anything else on the 13th, is there? Let me look. No, there isn't. So we're gonna keep our Zoom on all day, people, from 9:30 to 3:30 and make calls together. So I encourage you, if you cannot make the whole time, at least make part of it. Come join us, right? Maybe we'll do an Uber Eats and get some food delivered at noon and we could watch each other eat. Yeah, okay. So anyway, come join us. That's what I have for that. Ooh, 411. Has anybody heard of the 411 before? Raise your hand. So, 411. So what the 411 is, it is a tool. And when Allison sends the team meeting recap, Allison, can you include this PDF in there? So
Yeah, I'll send it out. It's a Word doc.
awesome. So right now on our leadership team, our executive leadership team, we are, for the very first time, we've talked about it a lot, but haven't done it, but this is all about being purposeful with your goals, is we put together a 411, and what we're doing right now is we're doing it a quarter at a time. So normally when you do this, you set your annual goal, which is one year, then you have your monthly, 1 month, and then you have your 4 weeks. So it's 4 weeks, then 1 month, then 1 year. And so as a leadership team, what we decided to do, because we just don't know what's going to happen, and COVID kind of threw us for a loop, we're doing these a quarter at a time. So we started our first quarter, June, July, August. And so Allison is going to be my little volunteer here and is going to talk us through her personal 411 and some things that she's learned now that she's a second month into it. So Allison, tell us a little bit about what was your personal goal that you set for the quarter.
Okay, so by the end of the quarter, which will be the end of August, my goal was to be able to run 9-minute miles consistently, and then be able to run a 5K in 27 minutes.
Okay, and so why did you choose that as your goal?
So last year, my goal was to run a half marathon, and I ran a half marathon last July, almost a year ago exactly. And since then, I broke my foot in November, and then I got really sick this winter. So I got really out of shape, and I just needed something to give me that accountability and motivation to do a new training plan and get back to running.
Okay. So what did you set as your, looking backwards to June, what did you set as your monthly goal in June?
So June was the first month, and my goal for the end of June was to be able to run 11-minute miles, which I did accomplish. So that's exciting. Woo! All these like fast runners are probably like, are you walking those?
No. Okay, so in June, how did you break that up weekly?
So my first week, my 2 goals were to create a training plan for running. And then after I created my plan, I put on there that I needed to time block for everything. So in my time block, I put every day that I was going to run or do a workout, I just blocked off a set of time and what I was going to do for that day.
Okay. And so what were some of the things that you learned moving from week to week?
So that was my first week goal. And then week 2 was when I actually did start the running. And my goal for week 2 was to do three runs and 2 cross-training workouts. And the first few weeks went really well. I would say by like week 3 or week 4, I was skipping or missing some runs and workouts. And Michelle is my accountability partner. We do our weekly check-ins. So that kind of does help. You don't want the guilt and shame to be sitting there and saying, I was lazy and I didn't do my work. So, you know, when that happens, you kind of just look ahead to the next week and say, well, I only did 2 runs in week 3. So in week 4, I need to do 5 runs.
Okay. And so what you're saying is you like didn't copy and paste like week 1, week 2, week 3.
No, we all made that mistake when filling this out originally. Because on this sheet, it does have a spot for 4 weeks, and you would assume you fill them out at the same time. But you really just want to start with 1 week. And then depending on how you meet your weekly goals is what you'll base your week 2 on and so forth.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. So now moving into July. Okay, so wait, did you guys hear tell me what you did your first week running? Did you go out and run that 9 mile? What did you do?
No, I'm the type of person, I need to be very methodical and have everything written and mapped out. So my first week, I didn't jump in. My first week goal was just to choose the training plan. So draw out that plan and then time block for everything.
Yeah.
So that was what I did in the first week to plan ahead.
So do you guys hear that? So even though her quarterly goal, right, is to do, what did you say? The 9 minute or 9 what? 9, exactly.
9 minute mile.
9 minute mile, okay? Her first week on the quarter goal was about planning and time blocking. I love that. Love that. Okay. So now what do you have for July for your first, what did you set for your first week in July?
So starting in July, I wanted to just be more intentional about what I was doing. So I was kind of moving more into specialized runs where, you know, 1 run a week will be sprints, another one will be hills to build up endurance. And then I wanted to do 1 distance run every week. Mm-hmm. So I kind of just got more specific about what exactly I was doing every time. And I also added some cross-training workouts in there. And then another goal weekly is to be in bed by 9:30 most nights, just so I can get enough sleep to be, you know, have enough energy to wake up early and do this in the morning, especially now that it's hot out. I can't really run in the evening. I get too overheated.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Okay. So what has been, I guess, the biggest aha, or what have you learned from this 411 that really you've just done for a month?
My biggest aha was definitely just how I operate like daily is if I don't get it done in the morning, it's not going to happen. So I kind of just had to adjust my schedule and adjust what I'm doing to make sure that I can do this stuff in the morning. It was just kind of a self-discovery. I'm just tired when I get home from work and I don't want to work out after work. That's just how I am. Some people are the opposite. So I kind of just had to tweak some things with my time blocking and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So if you wanted to, I guess if somebody wanted to start their 411, right? Because you can start at any time, you guys. What would be your biggest recommendation?
I think I struggled with how to break. It was easy for me to set what I wanted my goal to be, but it was a little more challenging to set what the goal should be by the end of each month and then by the end of each week. I don't know if that's how other people feel when they're trying to do this, but you kind of just have to start small. When you're filling this out, don't let it overwhelm you. Just look ahead to the next week and just think like, what is the basic building block of what I need to do? And you can kind of go from there.
So, and Michelle, being her accountability partner, I guess what has been for the last month that you've been her accountability partner, what has that piece been like for you?
It's been great. Just asking her, every week, did you just holding her accountable to her goals. And if she didn't get to her goals, then I'm just, because I'm Abby's accountability partner too, just kind of pushing them a little bit more, like, okay, so if you didn't get to your 3 runs this week, you got to double up for next week or whatever the case is, because especially to get to these, like the running goals, you've got to build up endurance. And so therefore, if you slack for a couple weeks, it's pretty hard to catch up. So just, I'm kind of excited to see where they're at every week that we meet and to just watch the progress. It's super fun. So
yeah, that's awesome. So Michelle has accountability meetings with Allison and Abby. And then I have accountability meetings with Michelle and Tina. And Tina has an accountability meeting with Kathy. And then I also have an accountability meeting with Cindy. And then Scott has a meeting with me. And so that was a big thing that you said, Allison, right at the beginning, is the accountability piece. So if you didn't have somebody who is going over your 411 with you weekly, how do you think that might be different?
I mean, I just wouldn't do it. Not completely, but I definitely would just make excuses. If you don't have someone looking at you and saying, what can we do to get you to accomplish your goals? I mean, it is hard. You make excuses for yourself, so definitely helps.
And do we start with our personal or do we start with our business?
We start with our personal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which do you think is harder?
I definitely think personal is harder. Business-wise, at least for us on staff, my goal is like, I have to get them done. Other people in the office are depending on what I'm doing. It's your work performance. Personal is like, you're just letting yourself down if you don't accomplish them, or at least for my goal, it is. So it's always easier to let yourself down than other people, in my opinion, so.
Very true, and I think we would all agree with that. Business is pretty easy, especially if we're in sales positions, because we equate them to listing appointments or number of calls or whatever. We're tracking it at a high level. So if anybody is doing this right now, I encourage you to always start with the personal. So thank you, Allison, for sharing. Does anybody have questions? Or is anybody right now, I would love to hear, is anybody right now actively working on a 411 or holding somebody accountable? Like Charisse, do you do this with your team members at all? I can't remember.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
So we do not currently use 411, so we use a GPS. But that is kind of like the next thing that I would like to integrate into our touch bases, is working the GPS and the 411 so that they're, we're using them together.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. Does anybody have questions or thoughts? Or maybe we could do a 411 workshop. Maybe that could be something coming up, right? Like maybe we could do that in August, get it on the training calendar, and you could do your September, October, November, you could do your 411 for the rest of the year or whatever. So if people would be interested in a 411 workshop, I would love to lead something like that, if you think it would be helpful to help you reach your goals from now until the end of the year. So let me know.
Yeah, and you don't need a team or a boss or someone on your team to do this. Like you can pick someone in the office and you just chunk stuff down to the lowest point and you just stay consistent with it. And this is a model and a system that leads to success. So if you're not doing it, this is where you start, and there's no way you can fail as long as you're consistent with it. Like Kim put this off for 2 years and then finally just made a decision. This is what I'm going to do, and it worked, and they're seeing a lot of progress, you know, slowly over time. So
Yeah. Yep. Scott's right, for 2 years. So 2 years, Scott's like, well, are you going to do your 411? And I said, no, I'm not. I'm not going to do it. And so I don't know what happened, but just finally I was ready to embrace the system. And I would call it like perfection tendency. Like I was like, I got to have it perfect, but it grows over time and morphs and changes. It's fluid. And so I don't know why I was battling it for so long, but it definitely creates clarity around what's important, because we all have big, long to-do lists, but to-do lists don't move us forward to what's really important, right? And our to-do list never ends. It's just the type of career that we're in. It's the type of business that we're in. And this is what will really, truly, then you're doing something down to the day, down to the week, down to the month, to the year, or to the quarter, or whatever it is that you choose, that's going to help you get to something bigger and better versus just a to-do list. So, all right. Well, thank you, Allison, for sharing. Miss Tina.
You're welcome.
Okay, so we are at the part of our coming soon and buyer needs. So if you have any listings coming soon, we want to hear about those. Clearly, we need them from our market update, talking about how listings are down. So feel free to take yourself off mute if you are uncomfortable with that. I guess you could put it in the chat. I'll start first. I have a 3 1.5 that's going to be live by I think the beginning of next week, and it'll be 239.9 in Greenfield, fenced-in yard, 1,300 square feet, has a family room, dining room, great house. So let me know if you have any buyers. Anybody else have anything coming soon?
Hi. Yeah, we've got something coming up. It's in Greendale.
Yeah, it's a split level, 4-bedroom, 2-bath, big eat-in kitchen, nice wooded lot at the end of a cul-de-sac. Going in delayed today.
Showing start Friday.
Showing start Friday. And that's going to be listed for 324.9.
324.9.
Awesome.
I'll have some pictures up soon.
Perfect.
I have one going live Thursday. It's 4 bedrooms, 3.5 baths on over an acre wooded lot in Heartland. It's in delayed currently. It's fully updated kitchens and bathrooms. And it's going to be priced at $434.9. So.
Okay. Hello. I'm going to be taking over a listing from a builder, Bellman Homes. It's in the town of Waukesha, 4 bedroom, 2.5 bath. It'll be $565 on an acre lot.
When is that one gonna go in, Allison?
On the 18th.
Okay.
Hey, Allison, is that a ranch or 2-story?
It's a 2-story. Sorry, on the 16th, it'll be live.
Okay.
Anyone else?
I have one coming up on Thursday on North 57th Street in Milwaukee, so just north of Silver Spring. It's completely remodeled top to bottom, just had the basement beamed and excavation done, and it's going on the market for $124.9.
Okay. Anyone else? I know too that this is a place where buyer needs probably more specific buyer needs, somebody who's looking for acreage or maybe lake property. I have one, just anybody who has anything with a pool coming up, if you could let me know, because I have a very specific buyer who doesn't really care much about the house, but really wants to have a pool.
In ground or above ground?
She doesn't care, honestly. I feel like just buying her a plastic one. She's really not picky. She just wants a pool. So, okay, if there's no other needs or new listings, I do just want to talk a little bit about Kyle Risto has put together a spreadsheet for agents who are willing to show properties, and I'm going to share it with everybody so that you can put your name on there. And it's also a great resource if you're looking for somebody. I know a lot of times we're putting it out on the Facebook page, but maybe, if it's a Saturday and it's last minute, not everybody's seeing that. So it's a great resource. And so on the sheet, it'll have the agent's name, their cell phone, email, their area of interest. So for instance, Kyle has anywhere within an hour of the office, and then what their charge is for the showing as well. So it'll be a great place for agents to go to newer agents. If you want to put your name on there, you can get some exposure, start going out and looking at some properties. And B, if we're looking for help, it's a great place. Obviously, you could still utilize the Facebook page, but I know sometimes I see last minute ones, and at least you have a resource to go into now. So we will be probably putting the link to that in the team meeting recap. And that's all I have.
Awesome. And I heard a really fun name for that today. I interviewed a $14 million Coldwell Banker agent today. I had an appointment with her, and she calls this group of agents Uber agents. I thought it was I never heard that term before. She's like, oh, well, I go to my Uber agents. I'm like, what the heck is an Uber agent? She said, oh, it's basically like Uber. It's the on-call list of agents that want to help other agents. So in case you're looking for a name, it's Uber.
That's a great name.
All right, Abby. Is Abby coming on?
It's so hard when we're both in the same room.
Oh.
Yeah, yours.
Okay.
All right. Let's see. Okay, there we go. So I just need to do a little housekeeping on commissions, because we're having a lot of issues with them not being fully submitted. And so that is kind of a pain point on the back end for operations when processing commissions. So just making sure that extra step is being done of making sure that submit is actually clicked. So once you're in the commissions, you've got it all filled out. You want to make sure that this is submitted and it tells you that it's submitted. So I'm going to do this one as an example really quick. You'll probably notice that this screen looks different than it used to, and it's way better than it used to be functionality wise. They are still making improvements to commissions with things that you're going to be able to change and edit and update, so you don't have to email me. They are currently labbing some of this stuff and making sure that it works, obviously, and the functionality on the agent side, you'll be able to edit closing date and all that stuff. So thank God for that. But right now, you can actually go in and edit by clicking on these, changing the commission percentage and the units and all that. Right now, you can't change the closing date, but that will be changeable coming soon, not yet. So this autofills based on whatever you put in the offer. So whatever you filled out the offer tab with for your accepted offer, that opens up commissions. We know that. So let's say that I am giving half of this commission to Allison Mark, just because I can see your face. So I'm going to go ahead and edit this agent payment. And this is a lot more user-friendly than it used to be. So I can actually change this unit to 0.5 because I'm going to give her half. And this sweet little button calculates it for you, because before you had to do your own math, and now Command can actually recalculate for you. So I know that was just an extra step that nobody wanted to do, and that is now, you're able to do that. So now it breaks that 6,000 down to 3,000. I'm gonna save. And now it pops up over here telling me that I have to fix some things before I can submit. So I still need to give half of this commission to someone. So I'm gonna go to add another agent. Again, they made these buttons a lot easier to find. I think before you had to scroll to the bottom and nobody could find it. So I'm gonna type in the agent that I wanna add to my commission. That's already calculated, and then I'll hit save. So now those error messages went away and I have all the funds distributed and I am ready to submit. So I'm going to be creating a new updated video of completing commissions because my other one is with the old version. And so I want to give more clarity on how to complete it with deductions, referrals, all those other details, but I didn't want to cover that today. So now you can see that the summary over here, the two agents that are being paid. If you want to leave me any notes on here, an example might be Abby paying for home warranty. So maybe you offered to pay the home warranty for your client. That tells me that your commission might be reduced by a dollar amount, and I don't have to go to the title company and say, oh, you cut this check too short or something like that. Most title companies will put it on the statement, but just, it's a helpful note. Anything that you can put in there is great. So I'm gonna hit submit. You'll get questions about donating to KW Cares International. And now you can see that it says your commission is under review. That's how you know that you've submitted it. So what's happening is I'm going into process commissions, and usually about half of them are still in open status. And on our end, we cannot submit them for you. So that would mean I have to log into each person's account, submit it on their behalf, and it just gets time consuming and I don't have everyone's login. So I know there has been a bug where it was telling you that it didn't evenly disperse when it was. That shouldn't be happening anymore, but just please make sure that commissions are being fully submitted so that we can properly pay you and pay you on time. So any questions on the commission stuff? Nope. All right.
Abby, I have a question.
I
Abby,
don't think I need to share anymore.
Alex has a question.
I have a
Alex.
question.
I don't have mine up.
Yeah, well, because I turned mine down, so
All
I
right.
think someone is talking.
All right. Question? Sorry, I can hear now.
Yep, I have a question. So in the commissions tab, is it automatically going to the 80/20? Because I think on one of mine, I still see it as 30%.
Good question. I was going to mention that, so thank you. I'm guessing that's not gonna change in command until we transmit for some reason, or we only updated it 80/20 in our system yesterday, so it's gonna take some time to reflect in command. Anything that you have started already will not go back and change. So unfortunately, command's not smart enough to go back and update the ones that we've done in the past. So I don't know exactly when that will change, but our system has you as at 80/20, and so we'll make sure that you're paid out 80/20 unless you emailed me specifically asking to stay on 70/30. So that's a good question. I had a couple people ask me that already. Anything else? Cool.
Okay.
I think that's all I have for commissions. I think I have a quick thing to talk about the blood drive notes.
Yes.
So obviously giving blood right now is still super important. Given COVID and just the functionality in the office, we've decided to not personally host one. We were originally going to in July. It's just a huge undertaking and bringing people into the office that we don't necessarily need to. So we decided not to formally host one. However, we did have the person that works with us to host these give us a couple locations for you guys, because it is still important to donate. So I promised him that I would still make a plug on donating blood. And so there is one, it looks like on Monday, July 13th and Thursday the 16th. I'll have Allison include these flyers so that if you want to, well, we encourage you to still donate blood. It is safe to do and they have proper restrictions and all that stuff. So I will send this or have Allison send this out so that we can still contribute to donating blood even if we're not hosting. And that's all I got.
That's awesome. Yes, please, you guys consider if you were going to be doing that for the blood drive to take some time out and do that. In fact, if you do, let me know. I may have a prize for you. So if you donate blood on the 13th or the 16th, let me know. All righty. All yours, Scott.
Cool. So I wanted to talk about a Facebook post that was on our private page. And you know, the ultimate goal of every meeting that we have or attend, or every training that we're just getting more hyper focused on, is what can you walk away with that you can right away implement into your business. And well, if that many people were commenting and obviously having struggles right now with multiple offers and what's going on in the industry and everything, we want this meeting to be that sounding board resource, as well as just get your feedback on what you guys might think for a separate training that would just specifically only talk about this. But I want some participation here, because we got a lot of producers on this meeting. And you know, can I make the assumption that you guys are running into almost every offer that you're writing, you're with competition, and it's timely, it's urgent. What is that life like right now for your buyers? Who wants to share what that looks like right now in the field?
It's discouraging for them, and I will say I had a win this weekend. It was my 4th offer I wrote for those same buyers, and I thought of something that I've never ever done before, and I was just like, all right, I'm just going to pull out all the stops for this one. So I put in the additional provisions that buyer's agent, which is myself, would pay $1,000 of the seller's closing costs. And we got the offer accepted. So I know it's just like, I would rather spend some of my own money to get their offer accepted and not continue to like run around and show them 10 to 15 houses a week and just keep writing offers. So it got us a win, and you just have to be creative.
It's big time that you have to be creative right now. And so the listings are much more, you can plan them, you can time block them. That's more of a business. But when you're running around with buyers, we've got to do everything that we can to prepare them for what they can expect, but also like, hey, what makes you different and why would they work with you? How can you help them get an accepted offer? Because it's not always about the top price. So what other strategies have you guys used that are out writing offers and working with buyers that you could help? Or maybe let's just say, what strategies do you guys use? This is as much participation as possible.
I heard one recently of somebody who, kind of like what you just said, Allison, offered to pay a cleaning service for the sellers. Like when they were done moving out, it was for the buyers, but it was for the sellers. I don't know. Not sure how they wrote that in, but that's something I heard recently.
I got one accepted where we used several things, but one of the things on the offer was that my buyers would absorb up to $5,000 cap if the home didn't appraise. I was able to run the comps, so I knew that their maximum exposure theoretically would be $8,000. So they knew what they were looking at, but the caveat here is you have to work closely with the lender to make certain that they know if it doesn't appraise and they end up having to bring the $5,000, that it will restructure the numbers on their loan. So before you write that into your offer, make sure that, you know, it clears with the lender, because it's not an amendment that you write if it doesn't appraise and you have to pay that $5,000. Additionally, there's two other things that were on the offer, that the buyers would absorb the first $500 of repairs that were a result of the general inspection. You can also offer to pay the seller's title cost, and you can get that number, and you know the maximum exposure of it based on the price of the home. I think the key component of what I was doing is providing maximum exposure to the buyers, so they knew, you know, it couldn't go over a certain dollar amount, and that made them feel comfortable proceeding forward with some of those particular incentives to get their offer accepted.
Another thing that I've been doing is, if you know that the sellers have a home purchase, so they're having this like weird time frame of selling their home and then having to move into their home, like closing on the same day, just giving them a week extra of post-closing occupancy rent-free. Just saying like, hey, you can take your time getting out of the house, no problem, and we won't charge you anything for that.
Yeah, if you look at a seller and what their biggest pain points are, they don't want to, no one wants to move, buy and sell on the same day, and they might need a house to buy after they sell. And so it's like, which comes first, the chicken or the egg? And if you can solve whatever needs you can solve for that seller, their individual needs of what's important to them, then you're going to do well. So I would say, like, as a go-to strategy, you would always give them some sort of occupancy. And how much do they need, and is it important to the buyer? Like, what can you give? What can the buyer give them that's not that important to them that could be really important to the seller? And how can you be as creative with your offer as possible?
Another component is make sure you use a, like on the one that we had, use a local lender. I had people that were using the Pentagon Credit Union. I got them switched over to Bill Miller. And Bill also picked up the phone and called in to the listing agent to let him know that myself, the realtor, would be sending an offer over, and had a conversation with the listing agent to let him know that they were solid borrowers, and that if they had any questions, they could reach out to him, and he was accessible and available weeknights, weekdays, and weekends. And that's a good tool to use as well.
Your value is not just you. And I see you wanted to talk, Zach, real quick, so I'm sorry. So your value is not.
I hate the competition, and so I just took myself out of it. I got an accepted offer for an unadvertised FSBO for one of my buyers, because we were in a tough spot. We're going to get outbid and outmaneuvered on every single turn. So, like, if you know you can't win this fight, get out of the fight. Start looking at properties that are more than 7 days on the market. Start looking at properties that are on the outskirts of their comfort level. Start looking at properties that are off market. Write letters to people in those neighborhoods that they want to be in, and see, maybe there's somebody who's thinking about selling, but they don't know that they want to sell yet. And you could end up doing one party listings or for sale by owner, where you just represent the buyer. You know, it's not ideal, but if this is a seller's market, just let the seller sell. And yeah, I I saw that's my thought process around it. The last two big success stories we had were buyers were for a house that was on the market for more than 7 days, was a little overpriced, and therefore it didn't get that like that 25 offers in the first day thing. And then the other one was we got an accepted offer with a for sale by owner. Well, all he did was he put his phone number on a sign in the front of his yard, but no one else saw it. I did.
Yeah, so the circle prospecting, for sale by owner, this is a time to get creative on that. And your value is not only you right now. To Kathy's point, your value is who you're using and the people that you have on your team. So this home team, for example, home inspection, they have a guarantee, or their unique value proposition is they'll get you in a home inspection in, I think, 2 days or 3 days. So now you can write a home inspection contingency of 5 days versus 10 days or 15 days. And you're just saying, hey, this is my team. I'm going to bat for you. And this is how we're going to make the transaction as smooth as possible. Chapter 12 of the shift goes into this in detail about bulletproofing and setting expectations and future pacing. But if you're looking at your time, and I'm hearing more and more, especially on a holiday weekend, oh, I had to leave this party to go show a house, or I'm so sick of needing to have to just jump and be a Pop-Tart and go show houses and have an hour to write an offer. I mean, there's a lot to this that you can still make leverageable, and not leverageable, but systematic as much as possible. And so would you guys find value in a longer term, like the only topic of a training is I'm going to walk away from that training with my system and my strategies around, best practices to win offers? Would that be something you guys would find valuable?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Because, obviously we have listings are ultimate important, but you also want to do that because now you work with a buyer that could be a raving fan. Now you went out and above, and now you're getting referrals for life. Zach, that person that bought the FSBO off market is going to say, my agent did not just react to homes that came on the market. He went out and found me one, which is what they're expecting. And so for the last 4 minutes of this meeting, I'm going to break you out into groups of 3. And I want you to just talk. If you have a question or you have an idea, talk to the group of 3. You might meet someone you don't know, and I'll bring you back right before the end of the meeting. So we're just going to break off into rooms here.
Okay.
Jeff, you see the button to break off into the room?
I did. When I did break off, nobody was in my room.
All right,
Don't worry about it. It's okay.
I'll go back now because Zach's with you. I don't know. I'll have to keep playing with it. I don't know what people think of this or not, but something different.
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Okay. Great. It was interesting what Allison said about like the agent offering something like that. I mean, I definitely think that's creative and something that stands out, you know, if you're reviewing something like that.
What time does Anna get you up, Katie?
Oh, she tries like all different times, like 5, sometimes 6, but I usually don't get up till between 6:30 and 7.
Everyone will come back in like 2 seconds. There they go.
Or they went bye-bye.
All right. So, I mean, just something new that we're trying, you know, to make this a little more engaging over virtual. We don't have to keep it up, but that's just how rooms work. And hopefully you could meet someone new or talk with someone. And we just want to continue to have a specific thing that you can take away and just implement in your business. So
yeah.
Thank you guys all for staying on and being here. And it is 1 o'clock. So we're going to hop on to Alex's training now so he can teach you all the ways of the world.
Yeah. All right. Thank you for being here, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.